Okay, abusia for breaking news ababeto bia sisi aya chama Wontumi anopai okopiem aya di Accra High Court for aya di final judgment and aya judgment day na abeto bia se chama Wontumi court no a sentence no to 20 years in prison na abusia aya Justice Audrey Kokrovite and just o deliver aya the final verdict in the profile of criminal charges involving Chama Wontumi na busia ene no enche se nsem na abetodwa no ama enche se NPP amanyoko no kra aboto Chama Wontumi plead guilty on the 6 criminal counts under the Minerals and Mining Act abusia enche se Chama Wontumi 20 years in prison sa case we dey abusia Chama Wontumi provide bibi biara a kire se no onye illegal miner or the company quantum mining registered wo ho papers na odi a kire mampanyini mahama empo ebribi atwam nso abusia saa de na asini de e kamia koye se obi hyase na se bibi wom na amasa ne mawi ekoso fi se 20 years in prison de abusia anodin there are some videos and pictures bi anje se aba out abusia edini nyina eche na Chama Wontumi nyame enka no ho na onhye ne den and ongu nso obekwa ababaye najuma na abusia abra omujedi Chama Wontumi with the 20 years in prison no almost slapping with a fine of 100,000 penalty units a year 120,000 Ghana cedis. Hey, abusia Chama Wontumi 20 years in prison anoting NPP amanyoko no omobeye den ni Chama Wontumi ko 20 years NDC for aye wom ho say ensema ACC empanyifo nsema wom ka kire wom nsema ekoso abonten no enya de se wom adi to wom hofo ade a NDC for aye abusia say in case power esesa aye 2028 die ben ena kire say NDC for no wom mpanyifo ni bi nso entimi enkonkodam fi se Chama Wontumi amajeli ni asem kese ena abeto abusia enje say yehwe nipa akogu aye Accra High Court ho for 20 years Chama Wontumi nipa ababi mu Accra High Court no anodin lawyer atachia wonyamfo apia kubi o ma ye de ombetim bia nanso no NDC aban wo so no nko de wo mope ena nche se wo mo ye abusia momi nkonkotie eye news a efri mpanyifa kache eba ye ni bi
TCA yi kire se one court no edikan a convict Chama Wontumi say dodo na nim the issue aye kan wa say about galamsey illegal mining e was Samuel boy court no accuse no say one ye man concession and ojitu mu so de koye adwuma afi concession ono ankasa afa ne kwan so atwitwa bi di amankrofo wasenka minister enko ani nipa ono na hwe ema obi concession enti emramu no se ma concession a woni ho kwan se wonso utwa ebidima enipa foforo bi enti 6 counts no omde gu ni tiri so 6 counts ni nyina no odi ni nyina mu fo enti finally the abeto dwane say he has been convicted for 20 years imprisonment and yasanso amanu 10,000 penalty units that is 3 years so ntimi antua until say 20 years no so ntimi antua 10,000 penalty units na that means about 3 years besanso ababe kan ho until I can confirm say now court no a sentence Chama Wontumi for 20 years
hey tizo mbama na baba boaboa no ho no akwa na say enne na omode na ekotwenem
court de wunya de koduro na se ne ya se di 2 3 so de a eno ano no wonko fie kura bim say ye be prepare na eho na ye de okune bia say ne lawyers ebe kwa akoye appeal but still na no obekoso remain in the prison's custody kopim say ne lawyers no be yes appeal no say asem no ekodu na fa dru say lawyers are court to them on them and count be 5 lawyers are my friend of the court our munina ko plead ko pacho senke man the minimum sentence in kabebe 15 years because charge they are born no one could them can 25 years and also about minimum 15 years nti lawyers na ko ni nyina na omo a plead ne lawyer attaching and was saying none lawyer initially none lawyer na and appear kubi asem no kwanimu na lawyer ni decide yes only asem na chibim nti yama different lawyer emra na nkrofo judi say bia a strategy because na July 3rd and was an enka sentence no and na omoka so okay new lawyer but the yama ne bre no no so hwe case ni ti yama ne bre ma ne hwe mu na court na yes net 20th and net 20th no lawyer some attaching or no more to me and court was all out of the jurisdiction we know maimu ntinka yemfen kwese Wednesday mano to di kan ko plead see enya Wednesday and na judge ni yesterday bi ojitumwa enye yi and na o sha say nti be 11:30 no sha say ready ni judgment we ready be 11:40 and or this judgment ever
asemo kwame ti say no we say concession the mawa Wontumi ntwitwa bi manko
dabi aye aban kwa ene wo ho kwan se oma obi permit so nkoye mining e wo baby
okay so no nko anu mu gina so ana sa asase sey ne deforestation is anoman
judge still enye illegal mining ene o gina so na emum o gina so aka say ye man concession na emum concession a ye de man no ono nso efa kwan bi so e man nkrofo ni bi o lisi bi de man nkrofo a eni ho kwan se enka oye ne sa initially na ye say illegal mining say we wakoye mining na wanye permit but ene judge no judgment already or court or na kire say o man tumi say onkonkoye mining e wo ho na emum ono nso fa ono ankasa ne kwan bi num so e me man nkrofo ni bi concessioner ne nka wo se nka minister ene wo ho kwan so yes enye chairman Wontumi ena utie ne manager no adanse die okudi ye na
nto manager of
kontamai no okudi adanse edema the state because o say ne family ne ade adenti Wontumi nkogina chairman Wontumi achi to no na adanse okudi ye ni nyina no ekokire se chairman Wontumi ma nkrofo kwan ma omo beye mine na sabre na ye ma ni tumi ti eno eye adanse ye kese pa
na se tankofo nso ko sense ase no
sense ase no eni ho kwanse nkeba ne sa so
kwam say the news na ba
breaking news
enti na chama atare o hye ko ye ni
atare enhanne say no address e ko court wonde nti me gidi se
the order safwa ne man de kan beba
dia ye di ebi o bibi for fresh ase nti obe ro ne ntare no na car no nipa no diki ne de man no de akofi
say me wo na chairman so ye campaign say ni nyina ye
say they say enso di kremo ko busa se ne chewe
some politics for the ntia me busa say hono by election be ba wana
nanko pe chairmanship position national chairman for New Patriotic Party enokra omunya nsha ase
but still we original chairman
Oya Shanti regional chairman.
Eti hon na mbeze me hu.
Okay, what dey no mbeto aba Nyankopon adma 20th August.
Hona chairman koka o.
Chairman koka o no.
Tinezi toka betimi akọ on oppose ana.
The chairman contest no. Na no ma pick forms awie. Enti nipa mienu na ekọ contest no.
Okay. Enti hon the
update we have now is that Chairman Wontumi, the NPP regional chairman,
kan me ade ye. Enye bibia say Aye 2018 enna me call se me pese me ye afuo ewo eye sechere nti afuo no a me ye se me pese me ye no na ye commercial farming na commercial farming so wo pese wo ye commercial farming na there is a lot of risk ewom globally eye wiase afana nyina nya Ghana nko a one ebetima ye nsuo two betima ye pets and more. 3 a bit my market even price. Some markets prices are falling. What you say? And a 4 can be anything. enti a bribe me call ye no me court say company na ye kwakwaji loan na ye pese ye kwaji loan na de ye fu se de na company bia akwaji loan e de ye fu e sa bi na ye koye enti omo ma ye de collateral buy and so bank bia no ye frɛ bi term sheet enti omo do mo term sheet ba say term sheet no one I was say omo na farm manager a free Brazil deba. But you know, it depending on type of the crops are ubedria and we you know and the time when I was say inti Brazil omo yes omo ko farm afi anti me amanasa and omo fa obi wo Ghana because na ye a bro any you maize anti ado so no the season no ye bear within 3 months to 4 months anti omo yes omo farm manager ni bi wo ha to omo farm manager ni bi de mai eno achi omo ma say ye de ayi ama wo mo no collateral de ama wo mo na omo ma ye farm manager no omo asoso na sa ma ye insurance company ma insurance company no so ebe be hwe ebe insure afuo no ayeye no ene edai say insure to sesi a ofin na enkran ankobra na enkran what you say oti na enkran but ene amanfo bebre fie say insure to a untimi cross even main road you cannot cross enti ayeye no safo no ene insure yiriye na bebe fire abroni nyina de koye se de nsuo bubu amanfo dan ye no enti natural disaster no mini hu to me say metimi de a stop no any ade ye na sabre no so no se wo hwe 2018 aye Ministry of Agric 34th anniversary omo ye omo my best farmer yes
when your best farmer paying
omo nya first runner, best farmer, first runner. I was such a Anna, Omode Maye.
that means na we have phone dada
Ye phone UTV. For a yiko omoba ho na bebe hwe ye sabe enye magic say ebi I was sorry and now I say Wontumi so aye phone. No, there's a process to do the farming. What you say? Anna, a man ba say. Anumu Anna aye lawyer Andy. I say said that wo court back wo court me no court me ansa no aye yi ni nyina achi no na niam a wona mu nyina no we say ye we aye azem de no anka ye betimi ane wo mo no akokot na yakasem na akopim say ye bewie na ye bewie no so no I know say sabe aye company ana aba aye but so obati ase a ye wo emre bi wo ho a ye frɛ ne
bargaining
pre bargaining na no first no na ye omo wo section 35 7 37 e wo ho but nya no ana me pese me ka ho asem bas aye section aye 162 says 162 at 1079 2022 emra bi by say eno no de eye negotiation na oma drop it charges no then you pay the said amount na omo no edema no then it become a negotiation for them to aye o lawyer ono de woko eno ono akotu ne mra eno ono de woko mate o frɛ me anopa meba o frɛ me wia meba da bia no me ko said you see ye no why you Wontumi nti no e say what you say but negotiation doesn't mean guilt.
okay
Negotiation doesn't mean guilt. And why he quoted the law 1621B no doesn't mean guilt. It's a negotiation. It's a purely negotiation. And 1079 at 1079 no LI 2022 no eso so ye no e can clear say omo wo sa mra no say e ka mra ho so it's my mra lawyer no choose say ɔde bɛka asɛm no sana ɛteɛ but ɛno nkyerɛ sɛ obi edi for anase no asɛm a meka kyerɛ wo yɛ yi sɛ you see sabe hwan na ɔbɛkɔ bank sɛ ɔse ɔkɔ bank no akɔkɔgye sika na enye process ayɛ process process ayɛ bank no na de ma what you say enya wo na wo kɔ na so kɔfa bibi yɛ yi o bank no de ɔmo nhyehyɛ de bɛma na wo what you follow. So I don't want to go in too much, but this is how the small narrative I think say I can batterize to.
We have an update to give you. So count one, Chairman Wontumi has been slapped with a sentence of 20 years with a fine of 10,000 penalty units. So 10,000 penalty units will be 120,000 cedis, and count one, 20 years in prison. So that is it in respect of count one. For count six, he's been asked to pay a fine of 15,000 penalty units. So 15,000 penalty units will be 180,000 cedis. 180,000 cedis. Yes, that's the amount. 180,000 cedis is the amount that he's been slapped with in respect of that particular one. So that is the update that we have for you. Chairman Wontumi sentenced to 20 years in prison. And so that is what we can update us on in respect of that particular one. So the breaking news this hour is that the NPP's Chairman Wontumi, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party and the founder and CEO of Akonta Mining, has been found guilty for various mining offense. He's been slapped with a jail time of 20 years in prison with a fine that, if you do the computation, you are looking at somewhere in the region of almost 300,000 cedis, basically. 300,000 cedis, basically. We'll be providing a bit more updates and crossover to the court and give you the very latest with that. We have an update.
The only thing we should be worried about with that social media conversation would be the likely misinformation that this would generate. And that is why we have to be timely also with our broadcast, so that people do not get misinformed in their efforts to follow the live feeds and to understand what really is happening in real time. The social media conversation is such a way that you would often have people who jump onto it. They jump onto it from all sides. They probably don't even understand what exactly it is. You just mentioned count 4. What does that mean to the ordinary social media person who is following the conversation? May not understand, but will jump onto it and try to interpret for his or her followers. That is where the real danger is. Again, as to whether the party members are massing up elsewhere, maybe there's some communication to them to meet somewhere else, maybe at the party office, that we do not have information. But within the immediate precincts of the court complex, we don't have such people gathering. We don't have them. And as I said, even the security detail here is not so heavy. That probably is because intelligence would have suggested that we don't anticipate any massing up of people, any unnecessary commotion and all of that. People are following, yes, largely from social media, largely from our own outlets. And we'll just encourage all those who are following to follow us also on our social media platforms for detailed, accurate and fair reportage on what is happening here at the High Court complex.
And just to also bring up to speed what we're also monitoring from the courtroom as this judgment is being given, we also know that referrals have been made to IDs that are said to have been not only misplaced, but more importantly, seem to have been faked as well in relation to the interested persons in the matter, as well as related to the directors of the company as part of those accused in this case as well. And then moving on to the subsequent issues, it also means that the interested parties would have to also be aware, all interested individuals for this matter will have to be. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that for all those interested stakeholders and politically exposed persons, either close to the accused persons or the company or the entity as part of those accused in this case, will make sure that related to this coverage, we also are able to touch base with them. And rightfully, we have to make sure that we go to the base of the Ashanti region, where we know that Chairman Wontumi, Bernard Nkribo-Esiakun, aka Chairman 1, is also the chair for the NPP for that region. We'll take you to our lead reporter, the one in charge of our bureau for the middle half of our country, Evans Inkum, to give us the latest. But Sixtus, when such a coverage is being given, it also means that we have to stay onto the facts of the case. And then for those individuals either connected to